Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Reese Talks Wrestling here. I know we got a new setup, and this is going to be it for now on. And we're going to be trying to at least give y'all 3 videos a week. I'll do my best, but let's get into the one that we got right now. We have Wrestlemania 40. It had ended Sunday. It's Wednesday now, and I've given myself time to just settle down from all the excitement and all the anticipation that was building up throughout the weekend. And now I can sit back, think and look at WrestleMania 40 and kind of analyze what happened. Today in this video, we're going to be analyzing night 1 and really see how good WrestleMania 40 night 1 really was. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and hopefully I can be consistent with my schedule and upload the 3 videos a week that I want for you guys. Let's get into it. WrestleMania 40 was a night to remember. Well, both nights were nights to remember, but just the interaction from social media, everything that came with it, it was amazing. And today I just want to review the card and really see how good this event actually was. Personally, for me, it's the greatest WrestleMania that I've ever seen. And for a lot of people who've been watching wrestling for a very, very long time, they have said that it's the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Now, I know that might be a reach and it might be recency bias, but overall, this WrestleMania was very, very, very good. It was very story driven. We had a lot of good stories going on, a lot of just good talent in matches overall, a lot of surprises. But let's get into night 1 before we go into night 2, which will be the next video. To kick off night 1, we start off with an amazing match between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. And this match was very, very good. I don't think it was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, but this was just a really good match of 2 legends and 2 future Hall of Famers going at it. And the whole story and narrative behind this match was Becky Lynch, who is coming back, and she's older, and she just wants to prove to herself and prove to the people that she still has it, that she still is the best in the ring, versus the young, the flourishing in her prime Rhea Ripley, who has just been squashing and dominating competition throughout her championship reign. And they did kind of an iffy build up on this match. There was never a point for me personally where I felt like Becky Lynch could pull away with the win. But if y'all felt like that, I know some people felt like that, but if y'all felt like that, let me know in the comment section below. Me personally, I really didn't feel like Becky Lynch had a shot at winning, even with her beating people like Nia Jax and whatnot. Me personally, I've seen Rhea Ripley beat all those people, so her beating people that Rhea Ripley beat already, it kind of didn't do anything for me, because I think having her squash people that it took a minute for Rhea Ripley to beat would have probably done something. But even then, Becky Lynch isn't shown as that strong, and let alone it wouldn't make sense for her to be stronger than Rhea Ripley, especially with Rhea Ripley in her prime. So me personally, I just never thought I'd see Becky winning this match in general, but if some people did, then that's fine. Either way, these two put on a classic. It was some really good spots. It was like this electric chair outside the ring where she like slid outside the ring spot. It was some crazy spots, and the whole narrative of this match was that Rhea Ripley was just stronger than Becky Lynch, and that kind of showed throughout the match. And me personally, I thought it was a really good match. I didn't see Becky winning at all. I kind of predicted that Rhea was going to win, and that's exactly what happened. Rhea Ripley would come out with the win, and we would see this shot of Becky Lynch just kind of staring down. And I feel like the storytelling from this point forward will be really good. I feel like the narrative of Becky Lynch in terms of how does she get back to the top, and will she ever defeat is Rhea Ripley the wall that's standing in her way? It's kind of like a reverse John Cena and The Rock thing, where like if John Cena was champion by the time The Rock came back, and The Rock comes back, and instead of Cena losing, The Rock loses, and The Rock now has to go on a redemption journey. That's kind of what I'm feeling from here. It's kind of like a reverse Cena Rock thing that I'm getting, but nevertheless, it was a great match. These two performed well, and I feel like there's a lot more you can do with Rhea Ripley's title run. And I feel like her retaining was the right decision. Good job, Triple H. Next up, we have another really, really good match. This was a roller coaster of a ride in the 6-pack tag team ladder match. Now, this was a match where they're trying to split the tag titles, and they have a lot of teams involved in this match, 6 to be exact, to really show the in-ring work and just how good the people that we have in tag teams in general in the WWE are. And this match was amazing. It was a roller coaster of a ride. There were some really cool spots. The ladders were breaking, and the whole goal of this match was to split the tag titles. And honestly, I didn't want to see Judgment Day retain. They really haven't been doing too much with this tag team reign, and I think for Judgment Day to really start to flourish and capture people's attention, especially as a dominant faction, is for them to have something to strive for. When you're just holding on to the titles, not wanting to defend it, not really wanting to do anything with it, it doesn't add to the faction as a whole. But now that you have them not have the titles, now you have Judgment Day trying to achieve something. They're probably going to be a lot more aggressive. And we'll talk about the Raw after Mania in a minute, probably in the third video this week. I'm recording everything today. But with that being said, I didn't really see Judgment Day retaining at all. And I thought 2 teams were going to come out. I thought the New Day was going to come out with one of the titles, the Raw titles. And I thought A-Town Down and Under were going to come out with the tag team SmackDown titles. And I was right about one. I was right about A-Town Down Under, where Grayson Waller and Austin Theory will ultimately grab the SmackDown titles and still get beat up outside the ring. But they were declared as the champions. And Awesome Truth, which I kind of expect. I was like, if it's not New Day, it's probably going to be Awesome Truth because of the whole R-Truth and the Judgment Day storyline, and that's exactly what it was. It was Awesome Truth, and honestly, I'm down for both. I'm really happy for R-Truth and the Miz getting their shine, even this late in their career, and not being treated as some jobbers or some throwaway or some toys that Triple H likes to play with. I like them being actually treated serious as a threat. And on top of that, being involved in this storyline with one of the biggest factions that we have going on in the WWE. Overall, this match just gave time for almost all these teams to shine, and it was really exciting. I'm trying to think of some spots that happened throughout the match, but y'all can tell me some in the comment section below. I really can't think of it right now. My mind's a little foggy. But I know that when I was watching the match, I was having a really big reaction. I was live on Instagram. I was having some big reactions to some of the stuff going on. This match was great. There wasn't really too much about this match that I think we're going to walk away saying that was a WrestleMania moment, but it was a really good roller coaster of a ride. And if it's somebody's first time watching WWE, this is one of the matches that I might show them. Okay, so for the next 3 matches, it's kind of iffy. Now, these next 3 matches, they disappointed me. They had me a little about the event, but if this is the lowest that we get from a WrestleMania, and I've seen way worse, then this is great. I'm not going to lie. It's not that these matches were bad by any means. Besides one, there wasn't that these matches were bad, but they just kind of seemed more hyped up than they needed to be. And these would be the Rey and Andrade versus Dom and Santos Escobar, the Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair versus Damage Control, and sadly, the Jay versus Jimmy brother versus brother match. Let's get into that tag team match with Rey and Andrade versus Dom and Santos. It was a pretty cool match. I was really actually feeling the story that they were telling on SmackDown. I didn't like the ending, and I thought that it could be a little better in the ring. Me personally, I feel like it had the wrong result. It had a lot of unnecessary interference. There's a lot wrong with this match in terms of storytelling. Because when you're in the WWE, you're trying to tell a story. And when the story isn't cut out clear, especially at a big event like WrestleMania, then it just kind of ruins all the build-up and hype. The story was built on that Santos Escobar betrayed Rey Mysterio and was building up his own group, and the LWO was trying to find their path. It was a really good cut-out story, in my opinion, and they kind of just threw it all away in this match, and I didn't like it at all. Not only do I think Santos and Dom should have won this match because they're heels and need to start being more feared. I feel like it's time for Dom to start actually being a threat and being serious now. The overblown, him getting booed out the arena, it's kind of overplayed now. We need to start building Dom to actually be a threat along with Santos Escobar and making them big threats in terms of being heels. But the ending to this match with Jason Kelsey and his boy coming out and helping Rey Mysterio and them pull out the win, it felt like unnecessary fan service to Philadelphia Eagles fans who really weren't in the crowd anyways. So that's my biggest issue with this match was the unnecessary interference, and I feel like it had the wrong result. Other than that, the match was pretty alright. It wasn't too big, but I feel like Santos and Dom should have came out with the win, and we didn't need the Jason Kelsey inside WrestleMania. They didn't even belong inside the story. This is a family Latino related story. I don't know where Jason Kelsey comes in at all. It was all right at best. Not gonna lie. Next up, we have the Damage Control. Versus Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. And this match wasn't bad at all. It just felt like a squash match, and time was cut short. And that's really it. I feel like if this match was longer, it would have been great. Damage Control knows how to put on a good match, and so does the other three women. And on top of that, if they decide to make Naomi, Bianca, and Jade a faction, that would kind of be crazy. I think this match was given like 9 minutes, so it gives like each woman like a minute to shine. And honestly, for the time that they were given, it was pretty good. I just expected more because of the names in it, but this ultimately ended with Jade kind of being the target, her getting a hot tag and whatnot. And me personally, I like this match. I think it showed Jade's dominance, but I think when we'll talk about Raw after Mania because she did have a match there, but I feel like it's time for Jade to actually start facing people who are going to give her some competition, and we can see Jade actually wrestle instead of her just squashing people within like 5-10 seconds. But other than that, the match was fine, and I really didn't have too much issue with this match other than the fact that it was cut short, but it was for a good reason, and we'll get to that in a minute. Next up, we have the Philadelphia brotherly love fight between Jimmy and Jay, and yeah, this was horrible. And what makes it worse is that they were hyping this up as this is their childhood dream match. This is the match that they've been wanting forever. And this is the match that honestly should have had more build up. It's very involved with the main story going on in the WWE right now, which is the Bloodline storyline. It's so much tied into this match that it should have been match of the night, or at least a contender. But instead, it's not even debatably the worst match on this card, night 1 and night 2. And I feel like this match is probably the one thing that if you don't want to call this WrestleMania the greatest of all time, this match is probably the reason. And it sucks because this is such a hyped up match. This is Jimmy versus Jay, the Usos, debatably the greatest duo tag team of all time. And they have the longest reigning tag team title reign ever. And this is Jimmy versus Jay, twin versus twin, Uso versus Uso, the same person versus the same person. Man, this match should have been great, but it wasn't. It became a super kick fest. It was very slow, and it didn't have much storytelling. This was the one match where Solo Sikoa should have got involved. I don't know where Rikishi was at, but Rikishi was talking about he's going to be there. He's been very active on Twitter. There's just so much that they should have done that just didn't happen in this match. And I can tell some of the stuff they were trying to do with each other, countering each other the same way, basically saying that Jimmy and Jay are the same person. They're peanut butter to each other's jet. You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to go to that narrative, but it just didn't show well, and it led up for a very slow super kick fest that was just bad and very disappointing, and that sucked. Because I wanted to see Jimmy versus Jay. This was the match I was probably most excited for because it involves the Bloodline story, and it's two of basically, in my opinion, the greatest tag team of all time, duo tag team of all time. Because I know people can be in a three-way faction and be a tag team. This is the various duo tag team of all time, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso, and it just should have been a lot better. But luckily, right after them was easily the match of the night. And I'm not going to say the match of Mania because I feel like the main event for night 2 was the match of Mania. But Sami Zayn versus Gunther was amazing. It was phenomenal. And this is for the Intercontinental Championship. And Gunther is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, 666 days to be exact. And it's amazing. We see Gunther in this amazing reign, this dominant reign. And we get a guy like Sami Zayn to try to dethrone him. Now, of course, everybody wanted Chad Gable to begin with because of the story between Gunther and Chad Gable that happened early in September of last year with Chad Gable's kids crying because Gunther beat their father. That's a beautiful story, but instead they decided to let Sami Zayn win the Intercontinental Championship Contenders Tournament. And there's nothing wrong with that because Sami Zayn is great. Don't get me wrong, Sami Zayn is great, but people just wanted to see Chad Gable get his moment. But they were able to put Chad Gable in it by having him be Sami Zayn's mentor or trainer. Basically, Chad Gable told Sami Zayn that he didn't believe that he could beat Gunther, which he was right. So Sami Zayn took up training under Chad Gable, who Sami Zayn beat, ironically, because Chad Gable is still an Olympic level wrestler and he has a lot of techniques and he's fought with Gunther and he can teach Sami some things. And before Sami went out to the ring, he got hyped up by Chad Gable. Chad Gable said, "I'm not going to be there because you need to do this by yourself." He got hyped up by Kevin Owens. His family was there. And it was a beautiful sight. And throughout the match, it was actually really, really good storytelling. And I felt like Gunther's aim, me personally, I feel like this was also really good to end Gunther's reign because it's really good and deserves a really good ending. And just in that build up before Sami Zayn's entrance alone, it got the crowd behind Sami so much because it hit on a much personal level, a very, very personal level that us, the audience, can connect to. Our family wanting to count on us to win a big prize or a big tournament, in this case the Intercontinental Championship. It made us feel and want Sami Zayn to win this match, and the crowd was pro Sami Zayn the entire time. And I love the storytelling. It's a storytelling of a very cocky champion in Gunther, and Gunther had Sami beat. He had Sami on the ground. Sami was very pinnable. You know what I'm saying? Probably 1, 2, 3, it's over. But instead, he kept going on the top rope and hitting Sami with a bunch of splashes. And he was climbing the rope very slow, very methodically, looking in the crowd directly at Sami's wife. And he was so bothered by Sami's wife being in the crowd and wanting to give her something to remember and make her cry like he did Gable's kids. And it gave Sami time to recoup. And in that time, Sami was able to counter Gunther. And after hitting 2 back-to-back Helluva Kicks, Sami Zayn was able to pin Gunther and in his 666-day reign. Yikes. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. And the crowd was so pro Sami, which it was kind of hard to get them there at first because between the IWC, between the crowd at live events, they wanted Gable. And to get Gable behind Sami, to get the people behind Sami that use that emotional intro and have Sami ultimately in the longest reigning Intercontinental Championship run of all time was beautiful. Personally, to me, this is, if the main event wasn't so good, it would have easily been match of the night. And if both main events weren't so fantastic, it would have been the match of Mania. And it was a great story, a story as old as time. I loved it. Amazing match, amazing build, amazing story. Lastly, we have the tag team match between The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And this match was amazing. This match was everything that it needed to be, and it showed that The Rock, when he really wants to, still has it. And wow, this was a match to remember. It started off very slow and methodical, just how a typical Bloodline Roman Reigns match would go, and it picked up as time progressed. It really picked up when they got outside the ring and they started beating each other. And this is where The Rock used his TKO power. This is where we're seeing the first kind of The Rock showing that he's the boss, he's in control, and asserting his power of being on the TKO board by telling the ref if he counts either teams out that he's gonna fire him. If he keeps counting, he's gonna fire him. And to me, that was great. It ties into the story. It's something that actually is a part of real life. You know what I'm saying? The Rock is on on the board at TKO, and he's using his powers to say, hey, look, I can get you fired if I really want to. And he's using that authority. I like that. And it became a no DQ match, and there were some awesome spots in this match. The Cody rock bottom through the announcer's table. The Roman Reigns spear to the Rock. The Roman Reigns spear the barricade where onto Seth Rollins. It was just a great match. It was a great match, and there were some amazing spots in this match as well. Between the rock bottom through the table, Cody Rhodes hit the Rock with his own move. We had the spear through the barricade to Seth Rollins. And then we even had Roman Reigns spearing the Rock on accident as Cody pushes Seth out the way. Amazing match. This match is almost a 10 out of 10. If it didn't start, I think it was a little bit too slow when they stared at each other. They had like, a little stare down for too long. But besides that, this match was perfect. And of course it ended with Roman Reigns and The Rock picking up the win, using the no disqualification to their advantage. It was just such a good match. And it had the last shot, which makes Night 2's main event just that more special, with the last shot being the shot on Cody staring down at the ring and staring into the sky as Roman Reigns stands tall in the back, reminiscing on WrestleMania 39 last year. It was amazing. It was such a good match, and honestly, I don't think I would change anything from this match other than getting to the action faster. That's it. But there you have it. That's my review of WrestleMania 41 Night 1. It was great, and definitely belongs in one of the best nights of professional wrestling as a whole, and I'm very excited to see what next year's WrestleMania will bring. I'll be sure to record and drop the Night 2 video very soon in this same outfit. So don't think I'm wearing the same clothes every single day, guys. Don't worry. But I will be dropping the Night 2 video soon. Make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know y'all favorite match on the Night 1 card. I'll see y'all next time.